Trinity? Could you tell me the reason why you and your husband were in my room earlier? If you guys are planning to stay the night here, would you both please go to the guest bedroom?
Oh, hi, Ari. I was surprised that you actually went outside the house for once, but I guess you're home now.
This place is my home, so of course I'd be coming back. Now, could you and your husband please come here and get your things out of my room?
What? What's wrong with us wanting to be in there? Do you really think it's a bad thing that my husband and I want to get a taste of what this room feels like in this penthouse here?
Then go to the guest bedroom. It has the same view as my room, but the only difference is that it's not already occupied.
We only just put our stuff down in there, though.
You really think you can just come into this house and do as you please? I'm sorry, but my bed is off limits to anyone else, as it was specifically made to my needs. I get that it's comfy, but it's not meant for you.
Oh? So you found out what I was really after in that room, then?
Well, if you chose my room over the guest bedroom, the only real difference is the bed, so that was pretty obvious to me. If you and your husband do anything in that bed while I'm out of the house, I am telling you right now that you'll both be charged $10,000 to get me a new one.
$10,000 is what you paid for that? You really expect me to believe something like that?
I hope you do, considering that's the price I had to pay. So come and get your things right now.
The fact that everything always has to be about you is so annoying. Ari, you've really gone and done it this time.
What did I do?
You went and took some of my money out of my purse, right?
Huh? I am not in that much of a need for money where I'd do something like that to my own sister.
Yeah, sure. That's probably because you're always taking Mom and Dad's money like some thieving parasite.
What did you say? What are you talking about?
The other day, I was in your bedroom, right? Well, I had accidentally left my purse in there when you kicked my husband and I out. So when I went in there to grab it today, there should have been around $500 in it, but there was only $200.
Huh? I don't know what happened to your money. Actually, I never even saw that your purse was left in my room these past couple of days. Did you really forget to take it out of my bedroom the other day?
That's what I expected the criminal to start saying next. I already had a talk with both Mom and Dad, and they told me they never went into your room. So that would mean while my purse was forgotten about in your room, you found it and took $300 out of it before putting it back where I had forgotten it.
This is so stupid.
So you're not going to confess to any of it?
Hey, Trinity. Could all of this be happening because you want to start living in my penthouse?
We are not talking about your penthouse right now. This is about that money which was in my purse. I want you to give me back that $300 you stole from me first before we talk about anything else here.
I told you I don't know what happened to your money.
Jeez, Ari. This is exactly the reason for why you're 40 years old and can't get married still, right?
Now, what does that have to do with anything?
You know what a lot of people call women like you? They call you a middle-aged woman still living in her nursery room.
Huh?
You don't work any kind of a job, and you live off the money your parents make. A 40-year-old, useless shut-in.
I have a job, though.
You have no idea how hard it is to make money in this world, and probably still think it just grows on trees or something, and that's why you ended up stealing my money from my purse.
I have told you 3 times now, I don't know anything about that purse.
It's so upsetting that a woman in her 40s had to steal money from her little sister.
For Christ's sake. So you have no interest in actually listening to anything I have to say, do you?
I'm not going to think of some money-stealing criminal woman as my older sister anymore, so it's over between you and I. I'm cutting ties to you. From now on, my husband and I will be living in this penthouse. It kind of sucks that Mom and Dad are still going to be living here with us, but that will only last a couple more years before they both croak. And while they're still around, they'll make for 2 great housekeepers. So this is goodbye to you, Ari. Have fun on the streets now after you're kicked out of this place.
I knew this is what you were wanting.
I have to say, the fact that you've already lived close to half of your life and have still not gotten a taste of the real world is really disappointing. So hopefully, kicking you out of this penthouse once and for all helps you grow a little. Aren't you embarrassed to be 40 now and still not have any experience working for a company? And that's not even as bad as how ashamed you should be feeling for stealing $300 out of my purse.
I'm not unemployed, and I was not the one that stole your money. But if this is how you want to play this game, then I'll play along with you. I'll be out of this place as soon as possible.
Good. I will praise you on the fact that you came around to accepting your crimes pretty quickly there. I want you out of this penthouse in 1 hour, all right? Once again, I'm going to have to praise you for getting all your things together and moving out of this house in under an hour.
Honestly, hearing praise from someone like you gives me the opposite feeling of being happy.
I'm sure you're dying on the inside right now, right? That's right. That bet of yours, the $10,000 one. I'll be taking it now.
So what you mean is you'll be paying me $10,000 to take it, right?
What are you going on about? It wasn't even you that paid for the bet in the first place. It was Dad that got this thing for you.
Excuse me?
Really? Knowing about how you forced Dad to buy you this kind of an expensive bed, even though he was already paying for you to eat and sleep in this house, is really sly of you. And that pisses me off a little. I cannot believe that for the past 2 years, ever since you completely shut yourself into this place, you've done nothing but take advantage of others and make things all about yourself. You've received enough of everyone's money now, right? From now on, it's my turn to lay back and enjoy this fancy penthouse while Mom and Dad pay for my husband and I.
Trinity, you really have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. Wait, it's more like you've just forgotten everything about what happened a few years ago.
Trying to threaten me by saying some really vague and stupid things like that aren't going to scare me away. Don't you ever come back here, all right? Bye-bye.
I'll hold you to that then.
Ari! Hey! What is this about this place costing $16,000 a month to live in? This penthouse has already been paid off by Dad now, right? He just came up to me and said that if I want to start living here with my husband forever, then we'll need to start paying the rent. And what's this about you having been the one paying the rent this whole time? What's Dad even going on about right now? How could a jobless parasite like you have had the money to afford a place like this?
I told you I'm not unemployed, Trinity. And if you'd like a little more detail into what I'm doing for work, I'm running a decently sized company as the CEO.
Stop lying, you idiot! Mom already told me about how you never leave the house except for maybe a couple of times a month.
That's because I'm normally working remotely from my bedroom. And the only reason I really have to leave the house at all is to go to the office building and hold meetings or talk with some customers in person. That's what Mom meant by that. Now, listen here. We are not living in the 20th century anymore. This is the 21st century now, where people can be employed yet not ever have to leave their home. And recently, due to a lot of world events, companies have been more open to letting their employees work from home instead of having to make any commute into the office.
I don't need to listen to you talking about all that crap.
And another thing, Trinity, has your mental health gotten any better? I ask that because it seems that you've only gotten worse when it comes to how you twist situations to your benefit, so that you never have to listen to anything others are saying to you. Did you stop going to see that therapist or something?
Come on! I had thought this whole time that Dad bought this amazing penthouse with the money he got from his pension after he left his company and retired.
So you forgot what happened with Dad then when he retired?
Come back here already, Ari!
I can't do that. Remember that I'm holding you to your word now? And that word was you saying for me to never return there again.
But there's nobody here that can afford to pay this kind of rent.
Well, then you should have actually been listening to me.
Shut the hell up! Ari! Both Mom and Dad left the penthouse. They even took all the things that were left over in your room and left. There's not a single person in this house that can help pay for the rent now. My husband's been telling me over and over again that he's not earning enough to pay for this place. $16,000 is way too crazy for him and I to afford.
Well, it's not like you'll be paying it anyway, considering that this is the last month you can live in that penthouse. After that, the lease will be finished and you both will have to leave.
What?
I made sure to end my lease there a while ago, and this was the last month before the landlord said he'd be placing the penthouse back on the market. If you want to continue living there, then you'll have to apply for the place and hope you're accepted. But of course, that'll mean you both have to start paying rent.
What the hell are you talking about? It's only been 2 years since you, Mom, and Dad moved into this place, right?
I know that. And from the very beginning, we only really were planning to stay there for around 2 years.
Why would you only want to stay for that short period of time?
Ugh, Trinity. Because of you, Mom and Dad were no longer able to live in the house they had before. You know, the one you and I both grew up in? You seriously forgot literally everything that happened back then?
What?
You went and forced one of your former classmates to give up their husband and let you take him, right? And, well, that former classmate of yours, Grandpa, just so happened to be the technical owner of the land Mom and Dad's house was on. That man ended up getting very, very upset with you and the family and forced both Mom and Dad out of their house to have it torn down. And then he went and sold the land to someone else. But before he could do that, Dad was forced by him to pay for the house's demolition and for the land to be cleaned up, which cost Dad most of his retirement and all.
What the hell? How?
So that's what happened with you. You didn't forget about what happened, rather you just never cared about how it would later affect your parents.
But Ari...
I told Mom and Dad that I could step in and pay off the settlement that was being asked from them by your former classmate and her parents. But they told me it wasn't any of my responsibility. So I thought, at the very least, I would take Mom and Dad, who had lost their house at the fault of you, and I would put them in a penthouse with me, since the both of them had always wanted to live in one of the skyscrapers downtown. So after they had paid all their dues that you caused, they came to me and we moved into the penthouse together. Mom and Dad were in tears about what I was giving them, and I asked them how long they wanted to live there, and they both agreed on 2 years.
So that's why your lease is over with now?
Although I'm kind of surprised that Mom and Dad even allowed you to come over to my penthouse after all your cheating husband and thieving self had done to them.
Huh?
Are you aware why Mom and Dad were both living with me in that penthouse now? Because of all that you'd done. And if you'd like to know, the only reason you and your husband were actually allowed past security is because I allowed it.
What the? I had always thought that Mom and Dad were so happy to pay off that settlement for me, and then chose to buy that penthouse with Dad's retirement after I left. And that you forced your way into there after leaving the part-time job you had and making them pay for all your needs. I thought that if Mom and Dad could afford a penthouse like that and pay for a full-grown woman like you, then they really were rich, and that got me all excited.
Well, in reality, all of this was forced to happen because of what you'd done, and it was rough for all of us since. I really thought you already knew about everything that happened since you were the cause of all of it. I would really like to know what's inside that massive head of yours. It can't be considered a true brain or anything by any form of scientific method, can it? And this is why Mom and Dad were asking you to please go and see a therapist.
I never thought my own sister would say that about me. Hey, can you tell me where Mom and Dad moved to?
Not happening.
Why not?
Because they've both demanded that I never tell you.
Then where have you moved to, Ari? I'm sure that things are so lonely for a single 40-year-old woman, right? My husband and I will come live with you to help make you feel better.
What a frickin' joke. I'm not even single anymore.
What? You got married without telling me?
That's right.
Then how about you let my husband and I live there and we can all be a happy double couple family?
I don't want you causing any trouble for my husband, so I'm not telling you where I live.
No way.
How about you stop acting like everything's about you and get real, Trinity? You have now not only been disowned by both Mom and Dad, but you've also lost the privilege of calling me your older sister.
What?
Honestly, something like this should have happened a lot sooner. I think right after you stole that man away from someone else and married him, while also causing both Mom and Dad to lose their home and money, we all should have cut ties to you. Maybe Mom and Dad both thought that after a few years you'd change. But considering the kind of freak you are mentally, there is no way you'd get any better. You didn't even bother going through more therapy, instead just making up a plan to have me kicked out of the house by saying I stole your money. Ugh. There's no hope for you anymore. You're not going to be living in that penthouse for much longer, and you won't be finding any of us.
Wait! The apartment my husband and I had been living in before, we ended the lease on it, so...
Well, that penthouse's lease is also ending, so find somewhere new to live from now on.
But there's nowhere left we can go!
Make sure you're out of there before the end of this month. Goodbye forever.
Wait a second, Ari! We can figure something out for me.
Trinity and I are 10 years apart in age, which means she's 30 years old now, yet you probably would never be able to guess that by the way she acts so much like a selfish and spoiled brat. Ever since I can remember, she's always been wanting the things I had. But who could have seen her behavior getting any worse to the point she'd go after other people's things, like their husband? And it's a bit more than 2 years since that happened. These last 2 years, my parents and I have done our best to move past the horrible memories she implanted in us. But after thinking she'd be back a better person, she only proved to us that her mental health was not fixable. And because of that, she's no longer a part of this family. On the day her and her husband had to leave that penthouse, they got into this huge fight that led to their divorce. But the issue there was that my sister had no money at all, so she couldn't afford to even rent the most basic of places. Therefore, she had to contact my rather hard-ass of an aunt, who came and picked her up to move out with them and work on their farm. Our aunt went ahead and made a deal with Trinity, which was that by working on her farm and paying my parents back every cent they lost because of her 2 years ago, she would not have to be abandoned by the rest of the larger family as well. Seems that her life of having no money at all is going to continue on for a couple more years now.
Hey sis, I know it's been over 3 years since we last spoke, but I need a favor, so I'm just gonna come right out with it. You absolutely must come to mine and Valentino's wedding.
Huh? Cassia, is that you?
I'll send you the details later on, but for now, it's gonna be held at the Velvet Unicorn Hotel in Washington. I don't know your address, so just think of these messages as your wedding invite, okay?
Why the heck would I come to your wedding, Cassia? This makes no sense. You seem to be forgetting that Valentino is my ex-husband. Why would I go to the wedding of the scumbag who cheated on me and watch him get married to the woman he cheated on me with? I'd rather have nothing to do with either of you for as long as I live, thanks. Honestly, how is it even possible that you think this is an acceptable thing to ask me? Are you doing it on purpose to try and upset me, or are you actually this dumb?
Blah, blah, blah. When are you gonna stop crying over spilled milk, sis? Forget all that and come to the wedding.
No way.
Quit being so selfish and be happy for your baby sister. I know you know Mom and Dad aren't coming, which means if you don't come, none of my family will be there to watch me get married. Would you really do that to me, would ya?
Sure, I know that. I just don't get why you think trying to play on the fact we happen to be sisters would get me to come to your wedding despite the fact that I clearly despise you.
Well, you're my sister, so I'm obviously gonna mention that you're my sister.
God, you're annoying.
If you don't come, the seats in the area for my family will be totally empty. Which means you are most definitely absolutely coming, and that's that. I won't take no for an answer, so quit arguing and accept it already.
Why am I only part of your family when it suits you?
Toodles!
I see you're just as stubborn and arrogant as ever. I'd have to be out of my mind to go to your wedding.
Indigo, what are you doing? Where are you? Hurry up and get your ass to the wedding. Me and Valentino were struggling to get enough family members to come as it is. The last thing we need is you going all no-show on us at the last minute. People are going to think both of our families hate us if you don't come and fill the seat we prepared for you. Look, sis, I'm serious. You have to come. Hurry up and get to this hotel now.
Oi, Indigo! Hey, I can see you read my message.
Oh, hey, Valentino. It's been a while.
I'm pleased to see you didn't block me. I know I might be your ex-husband, but that would just be childish.
Actually, I did have you blocked until Cassia started harping on me about how I had to attend your guys' wedding. I had a feeling you might try reaching out to me, so I unblocked you just in case. I could have just blocked you both, but I figured if I did that, she might start bugging my friends to try and track down my address or pull some other crazy shenanigans. I can assure you I'll be blocking you again as soon as I determine your insane fiancé poses no threat of causing a nuisance to my friends.
Threat? Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, forget that crap. All that matters is that we can message each other.
Did you want something?
Do I seriously have to spell it out? I think you know why I'm here. Me and Cassia are getting married today. We prepared you a seat in the family area, so if you don't come and fill it, we're gonna look stupid. This isn't the time for messing around, okay, Indigo? You owe this to your baby sister. I get that you're probably still not over me and that every day without me in your life must be a struggle. But that doesn't mean your baby sister deserves to get married without a single family member there to see it. Surely you can forget your petty jealousy and quit holding a grudge for just one day? This is supposed to be the happiest day of your sister's life, damn it!
2 corrections.
Huh?
Firstly, the idea that I'm still not over you is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Far from every day without you being a struggle, I feel blessed that you're no longer a part of my life, and honestly, felt like vomiting when I saw you pop up in my inbox.
What?
Secondly, my sister only has herself to blame for the fact that I have no interest in being there for her wedding. Why would you ask me to come and play happy families after what you did to me? Me and her are essentially strangers now, so I'd be nothing more than an actress, and an unpaid one at that.
Huh? Strangers? How could you be strangers? You're sisters, for crying out loud.
You don't seem to understand what I'm saying, do you? Wait. Didn't she tell you?
Quit talking crap and get your ass down to this wedding at once!
Indigo, how could you do this to me? You're horrible. All of the family seats at the wedding were empty. I could hear everyone whispering about me, and it's all your fault. Are you really bothering me with this again? Seriously? Who bails out of their beloved baby sister's wedding at the last minute? You're sick in the head. To think you were the only family member I invited, you're horrible. Huh? Baby sister, but I'm an only child. Huh? An only child? What are you talking about? Wow, you genuinely don't know, do you? At first I thought you were just being intentionally obtuse or were too stupid to understand what I was saying. But you really don't know, do you? Did Dad never say anything to you before he died? Are you gonna make a point? Unless you're gonna explain why you think it was acceptable to bail out of my wedding at the last minute, I'm not interested in listening to your rambling. Well, let me start from the end and save us both a bunch of time. We're not blood related. Huh? What the hell? What are you talking about? That can't be! Wow, they genuinely never told you anything, did they? Dad said he was going to tell you once you turned 20. Good grief. Explain now! Sure thing. Let me start by telling you this. You're Mom and Dad's real daughter, and I was adopted. Adopted? Mom and Dad were having trouble conceiving and were just about ready to give up on having children of their own when they came to the orphanage I lived at. After visiting me for a few weeks, they decided to adopt me. Then, 2 years later, as if by a miracle, Mom got pregnant with you.
That's why Mom and Dad always had a tendency to play favorites with you while leaving me to my own devices and doing the bare minimum when it came to looking after me. So between that and the fact they kicked me out 10 years later as soon as I hit 18, I had the adoption scrapped and I officially became parentless. I haven't had a family ever since. Basically, I'm not your sister and I never really have been.
You're not my sister?
Didn't you think it was strange when I didn't go to Mom and Dad's funeral when they died 5 years ago? Your Mom and Dad, I should say. Like hell, I was going to mourn them when they barely even bothered to raise me. Any relationship I had with you, with any of you, ended the moment I had the adoption scrapped on my 18th birthday. Ever since that day, me and you have been nothing but strangers, and that's how I intend to keep it. You have no idea how great it felt to know I'd never have to face the loneliness and isolation I suffered in that house with you all on the day I left. It was like this huge storm cloud that had been hanging over me evaporated in an instant.
Oh my God!
Which is why it felt like being punched in the gut when you suddenly showed up again that day 3 years ago declaring you'd stolen my husband before receiving the news Valentino was divorcing me. I spent every waking hour of the whole 4 months we spent going through the divorce proceedings wondering what I'd done to deserve it. My head was a mess, I was barely sleeping, I lost my appetite, and it felt like my entire world had been flip-turned upside down. Then, with the divorce over and done with, I finally pulled myself together again, determined to make the most of my fresh start. Now, 3 years later, at a point when I finally feel truly satisfied and fulfilled in my life, you show up out of the blue demanding I come to your wedding to pretend to be your sister so people don't think your family hates you. I thought Dad would have told you the truth on your 20th birthday, so when you first messaged me, I was like, what the hell? Why would she invite me as family when we're not even related? I came so close to blocking you right then and there, but I know what you're like, and I thought you might try to bug my friends to get through to me.
But I didn't know we weren't related by blood. I thought you were my real sister.
Yes, it would appear so. I have no idea why Dad didn't tell you like he said he would, and I guess we'll never know now. Unfortunately, that meant I had no choice but to tell you the truth myself. He's still causing me hassle from beyond the grave, huh? It's kind of ironic when you think about it. I can't blame you for not knowing, and I don't hold that part against you, but I hope you understand this means that me and you are done once and for all, Cassia.
So, if we're not blood related...
Right, your mom and dad were both only children, and none of your aunts and uncles are with us anymore. I guess if you really tried, I don't know, maybe by using one of those family history tracking sites or something, you could probably find a distant relative, but you'd still be total strangers. And I doubt they'd go out of their way to come to your wedding on such short notice just to fill a frickin' seat.
Oh my God, you're right, I have no one! There isn't a soul left in the world I can call family!
I have nothing further to say. We are done here.
Indigo, no!
Goodbye.
Indigo, are you there? Where are you? I need to know where you are, like, right now!
Huh? Why are you messaging me again?
Listen, me and Valentino got a divorce!
Jesus, seriously? But it's barely been a week since you got married.
I know that, but he... Well, that jerk was after my mom and dad's inheritance money all along.
What?
I don't know why, but he was convinced I inherited a bunch of money when they died 5 years back. It's like he had this wild idea stuck in his head, and no matter how many times I tried to set the record straight, he just wouldn't let it go. It got so ridiculous, I thought he was joking.
But why would he think that? They were never particularly well off. I mean, they weren't poor either, but we hardly lived in the kind of house that wealthy people live in, and there were certainly no Ferraris in the driveway.
Right, they did say they had a little more financial freedom after they kicked you out, but still, we were just an average middle-income household. It's not like they suddenly got rich after you left or anything. Nothing changed. And yet that asshole was dead set on them being secret millionaires or something. Actually, there was some inheritance, but it wasn't much.
Really? I see.
But no matter how many times I told him, he wouldn't believe me. He was convinced I'd inherited a bunch of money. The day after we got married, he said he was buying a new house and a Lamborghini and demanded I give him the money. Can you believe it? I mean, talk about jumping the gun. It was like he had this whole extravagant plan mapped out in his head before we'd even been married 5 damn minutes. When I asked what the hell he was talking about, he yelled at me. I know how much you inherited from your parents. Quit being such a goddamn tightwad. When I told him I didn't inherit enough to buy the new house and car, he flipped out, and so we got into a huge fight, and well, to cut a long story short, we got a divorce.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's what happened, which is why I was thinking of coming over to your place to live with you.
Wow, are you kidding? There's no way that's gonna happen. I mean, it's literally impossible.
Why? Oh, nothing's impossible if you try, Indigo. We're both totally alone now, right? It's not like we'd be staying together as sisters or anything. Just think of it as a room share type arrangement. Go on, sis. You know how convenient it would be. We could even start splitting the bills once I start making some money.
That's not why it's impossible. It's impossible because I'm not in America anymore.
Huh?
I came to Malaysia on a work transfer. Initially, it was only supposed to be a 5-year stay. But I met a guy here. One thing led to another and, well, we fell in love. I converted to Islam and now we have 3 kids together. I'm gonna be in Malaysia for the rest of my life, Cassia.
Oh my god, what the hell? No way!
I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I ended up crazy sleep deprived after dealing with your messages when you woke me up in the middle of the night on the day of your wedding. Time zones can be a bitch.
Oh my god, so you don't even live here anymore? Oh, this is bad. But this means I'm totally alone without a soul in the world to rely on. Oh my god. This sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, what is it? I have no one to turn to, no one to lean on for support. No one I can even call a friend.
Listen, Cassia, I'm not gonna pretend that doesn't totally suck for you, because it does. But even if I was still living in America, there's still no way I'd do a room share with you. Heck, you couldn't even pay me to.
What? Why not?
Do I seriously need to spell it out?
Duh, I'm asking because I don't understand.
I guess it's not such a surprise that someone with a tendency for destroying people's lives by stealing their husbands would also be totally lacking in self-awareness.
Huh? What does that mean?
Explaining it would be pointless. You have to think about this by yourself. Anyway, I think we're done here.
We are?
We're walking along different paths, Cassia. Shall we just call it a day here? There's nothing to be gained from dragging this out a second longer.
But you're my big sister.
No, I'm really not.
Indigo!
Goodbye, my ex-sister.
Indigo, are you there? Let's get married again. I've been doing some serious soul searching, and I think I'm ready to give things between us another shot. So what do you say, babe? Shall we reignite that old flame and dive back into our sweet love adventure together? You see, babe, life's just not the same without you by my side. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right between us. Me and Cassia got a divorce.
I live in Malaysia now, so I can't. Sorry.
Malaysia?
I'm here on a work transfer. I'm also married with 3 kids, so I'm probably going to be spending the rest of my life here. Which is why the whole remarriage thing is going to be, difficult.
What? What the hell am I reading?
I heard about the divorce from Cassia, and I'm pretty sure I more or less know how it went down.
You did?
Yep. So I'm sorry, hon, but this ain't gonna happen how you thought it would.
Indigo!
Kindly never message me again for the rest of your life. Thanks. After that, I received a series of updates on the whole Cassia and Valentino situation from an old friend back in the States. Apparently, the whole thing started to disintegrate when Valentino quit his job. thinking he was set for life, having just married a woman in possession of lavish amounts of inheritance money. Of course, me and you know that that money never existed. And it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that hopelessly deluded serial cheater's world fell apart when he found out. Last I heard, he currently spends his days desperately looking for a job while the deadline on his overdue rent payments looms ever closer. As for my ex-sister Cassia, it turns out she was hoping Valentino would provide for her for the rest of her life, because she quit her job as soon as they started dating. Kinda ironic how they were both after each other for the same thing, huh? I heard from an old friend that they regularly bump into each other at the job center. And every time they do, security have to be called to separate their vicious fights, and more often than not, the cops end up being called. As my friend puts it, I don't see why they don't just stop being stubborn and go to a different job center. To be fair, she has a point. If they were genuinely done with each other, they'd stop, but I guess it really is like they say, misery loves company. These are just some of the philosophic musings I indulge in while reading my book, drinking my coffee, and eating scones out on the sun lounger in my backyard in the scorching Malaysian heat.